Hi, it's Dan Yampieri, your broker owner of Remax Aspire. The main question I'm getting right now is what's up with the market? So I wanted to take a moment and answer that, particularly for clients of mine and prospective clients as well. So we're in a market that resembles other markets that I have seen over the last 23 years in real estate. It's not like the market that we have experienced over the last 5 or maybe even 10 years. It definitely is more reminiscent of the early 2010 market when we were just a few years out from the COVID pandemic. In fact, the rates are somewhat similar to then, although somewhat higher. As of this video in early November 2025, interest rates are tending to stay around 6.25 to 6.5. But I want to give you a caveat. We have seen on contracts interest rates that are below 6. The problem we're seeing though, and this is why I think I get the question about what kind of market are we in so frequently. The problem we're seeing is that everybody today thinks 6% or 6.25% is high. If you've owned a home for a long time, you know that that's not the case. But 80% of this country has a sub 4% mortgage. Now, there's been a couple of developments in housing recently, prospective or proposed changes, including a 50-year mortgage and then also making mortgages assumable. I'm going to assume, no pun intended, that that means new mortgages. I think the idea that mortgages that have already been bought and sold are going to suddenly become assumable would probably be illegal. But if new mortgages became assumable, that could be appealing depending on down the road what interest rates are like. So I think that's hard to judge at the moment, but could be a good idea. And 50-year mortgages could be a good idea. I believe it would be a niche product. I think a lot of builders would use it, but I think it would be primarily for first-time home buyers. And there could be some advantages there, some equity gains and such. But as far as where we are for seller clients right now, you really need to get your property prepared, and you've got to get your expectations set that pricing is not going to be where it was maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years ago even. It could be as far below where properties were by, say, 5 or even 10%. I'll give you an example. In Ellicott City, we had a property went on the market about $650,000. It sold for $575,000. That property typically in most markets over the last 5 years would not have sold for below list price. In fact, it would have sold above list price. So $75,000 under list price is a big change from where the market has been. You got to get your home pre-inspected in a lot of cases. You need to get repairs done. So it's a much more traditional market where the seller is not completely calling the shots, but prices are still up 50% compared to where they were 5 years ago. So your house is still valuable. There's buyers out there that want it. For buyers, you really got to get your ducks in a row right now and be ready to strike. Too many buyers are out in the market and they're just still waiting, or they have paralysis. They're waiting for lower rates. Here's the thing. When the rates go lower, inventory is going to be moving off the shelves. We have the most inventory right now that we're going to have in the year because it's nearly December. It's the end of the year. A lot of buyers are saying, well, we'll start looking again in February and March. The bidding wars will be back in February and March. So now is the time. If you see the right property, you've got to move on that property and get the concessions that you can't get in the spring. Get it for the good price that you can't get it for in the spring. And you can close faster because loan volume is smaller right now. So that's my update. It's long, but it's detailed. And that's why you love having me as your broker, because I have experience and know this market. If you have more detailed questions, all you need to do is email me back, or you can always give me a call and I'd love to talk with you. Thanks for watching.